Welcome, boys and girls, to an episode of Advanced Word Study. I'm your host, Miss Chelsea, and this is your teacher, Miss Amber. In preparation for our lesson today, you'll need a few things: a pencil and a piece of paper. Have fun!
Thank you, Miss Chelsea. Today, boys and girls, we will be working on reading and spelling multi-syllable words. But before we begin, let's review what a syllable is. Do you remember? A syllable is a word part that has only one vowel sound. Multi means many. So a multi-syllable word is a word that has two or more syllables. Today, we will be working with closed syllables. And closed syllables are a syllable that ends in one or more consonants and it makes a short vowel sound. Let's review those sounds. I'm going to say them first. A, e, a, I, a. Can you say those with me? A, e, a, I, a. Great job. Now I'm going to point and I want you to say them by yourself. Great job. Those are our short vowel sounds. Now when I think of closed syllables, I want to think of a closed door. When we use a closed door in a room, we're closing off that room from the other parts of the house. So just like with that closed door in our houses, we want to think of a closed door because that consonant is closing in that vowel sound and making it short. So we'll use our closed door to remember that closed syllables have a short vowel sound. So I'm going to use some steps today that help me learn to read words that I don't know. So step 1 tells us to label the first two vowels. Step 2, draw a bridge to connect the vowels. Step 3, label the consonants on the bridge. Step 4, divide using the pattern you notice. Step 5, identify the syllable types for each part and label each. Step 6, read each syllable and blend the word. Now I know that's a lot of steps, but I'm going to walk through our first word using those steps so that you can see what I'm doing. So here's my first word. And step 1 tells me to label the first two vowels. When I look at this word, I see vowels A and I. So I underlined those, and I'm going to put the letter V under those to represent my vowels. I'm ready for step 2, and it tells me to draw a bridge to connect the vowels. So I'm drawing a bridge, which is a straight line from the A to the I, because this is where I want to focus my attention on my word. Step 3, label the consonants on the bridge. So I'm looking on my bridge and I see the letters P and K. So under P and K, I'm putting consonants. Step 4, to divide using the pattern I notice. And when I'm talking about a pattern, I'm referring to the VCV pattern I see on the bridge. And in this word, I see a VCCV pattern. My chart down here says that if I have a VCCV pattern, I divide between the consonants. So, right here, I'm dividing between the P and the K because those are my two consonants on my bridge. Step 5, identify the syllable types for each part and label each. So I want to first look at my first syllable. I see the vowel A, and it's followed by the consonant P. And we just learned that closed syllables end in one or more consonants. So this P is closing in that vowel. So we know that A is going to make the short A sound, and it's a closed syllable. So above it, I wrote CL for closed syllable. Let's look at the second word part. I see vowel I followed by the consonant N. So that N is closing in that I. So this is another closed syllable. So I wrote CL for closed syllable. The last step, step 6, says to read each syllable and blend the word. Now I have to remember that closed syllables make that short vowel sound that we just reviewed. So A will say A and I will say I. So I'm ready to read this word. App, nap, k, in, kin. When I blend that word together, I get nap, kin, napkin. Yeah, we use napkins when we're eating to wipe our faces to keep them clean. Now I want to put this on our chart to remind us of a word that has closed syllables. And on my card you can see that I followed the steps to identify that each syllable is closed, just like we did on our chart. Now let's try another one, but this time I need your help. Here's my word. Let's look at step 1 and read it together. Label the first 2 vowels. What vowels do you see on this word? Yes, I see I and A. And under those, we want to put a V for vowel. Excellent job. Step 2, read it with me. Draw a bridge to connect those vowels. So we're going to draw a bridge from the I to the A. Because remember, we want to keep our focus on that bridge when we're determining how to say this word. Ready for step 3? Read it with me. Label the consonants on the bridge. So let's look at our bridge. What consonants do you see? Yes, I see S, H, and P too. But we got to think about S and H. What do we know about those 2 letters when we see them together? That's right. When we see S and H together, those are digraphs. And a digraph are 2 letters that make one sound. Way to go. And so when we see S and H together, we want to keep those together since they only make one sound. So we're going to consider that one consonant. So under S and H, I'm writing a C for consonant, and then I'm going to put another C under the consonant P. Way to go helping me identify that digraph. Now, we're ready for step 4. Read it with me. Divide using the pattern you notice. Again, this is a VCCV pattern. And our chart tells us with that VCCV pattern that we want to divide between the consonants. So I want to divide in between my 2 consonants. So that will be the H and the P. Step 5, read it with me. Identify the syllable types for each part and label each. I see my vowel I, and it's followed by that digraph SH. So if we think back to our anchor chart, it says closed syllables end in 1 or more consonants. So that SH is closing in that I. So this is another closed syllable. So above that, I want to write CL to remind me this is a closed syllable. Let's look at our second word part. What vowel do you see? Yes, I see A too. And A is followed by consonant N. And N is closing in that vowel, so it's going to make a short vowel sound. It's another closed syllable. Great job. Let's do step 6. Read it with me. Read each syllable and blend the word. Now we know our vowel sounds are going to be short because closed syllables have short vowel sounds. So my first syllable, I will say I for the short vowel I. And for vowel A, I say ah. Now, watch me read this and then we'll try it together. D-ish, dish. Can you do that? Let's do our second syllable. P-an, pan. Now let's blend it together. Dish, pan, dishpan. Yeah, a dishpan is a pan that we put our dishes in and wash them. So that's a dishpan. Thank you for your help. Now I want you to help me do this word. So get your pencil and paper and write this word down. Are you ready? Great. So let's start with step 1. We need to label the first 2 vowels. So what 2 vowels do you see? Yes. So you will underline I on your paper. And under that, we're going to put a V for vowels. And we have 2 I's as our vowels in this word. Ready for step 2? Draw a bridge to connect the vowels. So we're drawing a bridge from the first I to the second I. Step 3, label the consonants on the bridge. What consonants do you see in this word? I see G and N too. Excellent. So on your paper, I want you to write C for consonant under the G and N. Now, we're ready for step 4. To divide using the pattern you notice. What pattern do you see in this word? I see the VCCV pattern as well. And if we look back to our other words in our chart, it tells us that we divide between the consonants. So you draw your line in between your 2 consonants on your word. Step 5, identify the syllable types for each part and label each. Let's look at our first word part. What vowel do we see? I. And it's followed by what consonant? G. And we're learning that G, if we see a consonant behind the vowel, it closes it in. So that G is closing in that vowel I. Very good. So above that, we're writing CL to remind us it's a closed syllable. Now let's look at our second word part. I see vowel I, and it's followed by consonant N. So that N is closing in that vowel, and it's another closed syllable. So now we're ready for step 6. Read each syllable and blend the word. Now remember, they're both closed syllables, so they will have short vowel sounds. So let's sound this out together. O, I, G, lig. I, nin. Let's sound it together. Lig, nin, lignin. Lignin. Does that sound like a word you've heard before? I've never heard of the word lignin. So lignin is a nonsense word. And a nonsense word is a word that is not a real word, but we can use them to see how well we are learning to read real words. Because if we can read nonsense words like lignin, we can read real words. So great job trying that out with me. Let's do one more. Write this word on your paper. Now let's start with step 1. What does step 1 tell us to do? That's right, label the first 2 vowels. What are the first 2 vowels you see? Yes, I see O and I too. So I put my V's for vowels. What do we need to do in step 2? Yes, draw that bridge to connect the vowels. So we're drawing a bridge from O to I. What's step 3? Yes, label the consonants on the bridge. What are the 2 consonants you see? Yes, I see P and T also. In step 4, divide using the pattern you notice. And I heard you say it. Yes, this is another VCCV pattern. So all we have to do is divide between the consonants. That's awesome. Step 5, identify the syllable types and label each. What vowel do you see? O, and it's followed by consonant P. So that P is closing in that vowel. So this is a closed syllable. Let's look at the second syllable. We see what vowel? Yes, I, and it's followed by consonant N. So it's closing in that vowel, so it's another closed syllable. So we're ready to read this word. I'm going to point under the letter, and I want you to say the sound. P, p, pop. Do the second syllable. In, tin. Now let's read this together. Pop, tin, pop-tin. Oh, I've not heard of that word pop-tin before. It must be another one of those nonsense words. Now that we can read words that have more than one syllable, let's practice spelling words with one or more syllables. But I want to do the first one for you. So my first word is figment. Can you say figment? Let me clap the syllables in figment. Figment. Let me count them. Figment. I hear 2 syllables. So for 2 syllables, I'm going to draw 2 lines. Figment. Figment. Now, I want to think about my first syllable. I hear fig. Fig. So I'm going to spell it. Fig. Fig. Then I'm thinking about my second syllable, ment. 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 So when I put this together, I get figment. Figment. Figment is something made up. So that's a real word. Let's go to our next word. Help me do this one. My word is comet. Can you say comet? Help me clap the syllables in comet. Comet. Let's count the syllables in comet. Comet. Yes, I hear 2 syllables as well. So we're going to draw 2 lines to represent my syllables. Comet. Comet. Now let's listen for that first syllable, com. Let's sound it out. K, ah, K, ah, K, ah, Now, I could have spelled this with a K, but then I wouldn't have been spelling it correctly because K comes before E, I, or Y. And this is vowel O, so we know we use the letter C. Let's do our second syllable, et. Sound it out. Et. Et. Good. Et. So now if I put it together, I have comet. A comet are those frozen gases that orbit the sun. Now I want you to do number 3 with me. So get your pencil and paper back out. All right, listen to our word. Our word is pastel. Say pastel. Let's count the syllables in pastel. Pastel. Let's count them. Pastel. We hear 2 syllables, so draw 2 lines on your paper to represent those syllables. And the first syllable is pass. Let's sound that out. Pass. Can you spell it? Pass. And let's do the second syllable. Tell. T-L. Now, some of you might have wanted to put another L, but remember we doubled the L at the end of 1 syllable short vowel words. And this is a 2-syllable word, so we don't have to double the L at the end. Great job. When I put this together, I get pastel. And pastels are soft shades of color. And let's do the last one. The last word is lepton. Say lepton. Let's count the syllables in lepton. 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 Did you hear 2 syllables? We will draw 2 lines to represent lepton. What's our first syllable? Lep. Sound it out. Lep. Now, write it. Lep. What's our second syllable? I heard you. Ton. T-on. Now, can you write it? Good job. When I put that together, I get lepton. Have you heard of that word before? No, me either. That must be another one of those nonsense words that helps us know if we can read and spell real words. So let's review. Closed syllables have 1 or more consonants behind the vowel and they make a short vowel sound. Let's say those one more time. A, E, A, I, I'm excited to use what we've learned today in our practice tomorrow when we read closed syllable words in a story.
Thank you, Miss Amber, and thank you, boys and girls, for your participation today. We can't wait to see you next time. Bye!